Welcome to the 5-minute Mandala Art Challenge to de-stress and create daily. I'm so excited to share this really simple 5-day art challenge with you, especially if you have been feeling stuck, not creating consistently, feeling stressed or overwhelmed, or if you just want to breathe some new life into your creative practice. I think you'll find some of the prompts and the information in this challenge really supportive and encouraging. And it's always a nice thing, I think, to create with other people. I find that motivating. I hope you do as well. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the overview of the 5-minute Mandala Art Challenge, the process, any materials you might need, the prompts themselves, a free downloadable workbook that you can get in the description box below, and ways you can connect with others in the community. It's just a quick word about the word mandala. So mandala means circle. And I find, especially if you ever struggle with beginning, or I like to call it blank page syndrome, when you come to a blank page or blank canvas and you find it difficult to begin or you feel overwhelmed, I love working in a circular shape. This has been a practice of mine for years. I teach it with many of my students, and it seems really simple, but sometimes that can help. Everything I offer is an invitation, especially the prompts or the materials. So feel free to change and have it fit whatever your creative practice is or how you're feeling in the moment. So let's dive into some recommendations. So many of you know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, that I am a huge fan of minimalist art materials. So I'm a minimalist at heart. And when I was doing my MFA more than 10 years ago, I really fell in love with creative limitations. There's a few ways we're going to be playing with creative limitations in this art challenge to help us create more with ease. So one of those is to limit our art materials. So I'm going to show some here. You might want to work in an art journal or just have scrap pieces of paper. You might want to work with watercolors or micron pens. Those are some of my favorites, as you know, from here on the channel. You can even work with colored pencils, crayons, whatever you have available that are your supplies, your children's supplies, etc. The thing that I would suggest is if you start to feel overwhelmed, if you're like me and you just have a lot of art supplies at home, to choose just maybe 2 or 3 to begin. You can always add more, but especially since it's a limited practice time-wise, it's nice to really limit the materials so you don't have that analysis paralysis and trying to decide what you want to create with. So the other limitation is the 5 minutes. So the 5 minutes is, again, an invitation. So you might find after you've been making and creating for 5 minutes that you feel like you're in a really good flow and that you want to keep continuing, especially if what you usually create takes longer. You might also find that you literally in your day, that's all you can squeeze in is 5 minutes. Just come to your art desk, find a little nook somewhere where you can create wherever your space is, and give yourself permission to just make a few marks. The other invitation with this Mandala Art Challenge is I often draw or paint what I like to call mindful mandalas. Really, it's just a way of incorporating mindfulness with our art practice. Largely, that can look like just becoming aware of the sounds around us, the texture of the page, noticing our body, any sensations that we're feeling in the moment. It can also be a deeper meditative practice. And again, I'll be sharing more in the other videos. And with my Mindful Mandalas course, I do go into much more depth with different practices as well. So I want to share one more piece around making meaning from our marks before we dive into how you can share and connect in community and how you can win a spot in my Mindful Mandalas course. So making meaning of our artwork. Sometimes when we create, it can feel really playful and joyful and free, and maybe it's scribbling or maybe it's getting something on the page and there's not a deeper meaning to it. And other times I find it can be a creative expression. It can be a venting on the page of emotions that are otherwise pent up. It can be a way of relieving and releasing what's been happening throughout the day. I love Julia Cameron and her book, The Artist's Way, and she talks about her morning pages practice that many of you I'm sure are aware of as quote unquote siphoning off the worries. And I really find that with this really with any creative practice, that for me and for many of my students, it's a way to siphon off our worries. It's not art therapy, but it can sometimes feel therapeutic. And one thing I notice with my students is they feel like they're expressing something creatively, but then they have no idea what their marks mean, and they want to make meaning of their marks. I have a handful of different signature writing processes that help to clarify what our marks mean and to really define that for yourself. I will be sharing a bit more in some of the upcoming challenge videos, and then again, you can see that in the links below with the workshop. One reason why I love art challenges is because it's also a way where you can have similar art prompts and see how it's interpreted differently by other people and know that you're creating something together at the same time. I find it can help with momentum and really holding you in the creative practice. So if you're following along and you want to connect with others or see what others are up to, you can definitely find my social media accounts. They're in the description box below. Please like, share, and tag me, as well as use the hashtags 5-Minute Mandala Challenge and hashtag artforyourcreativemuse. Again, I'll have that all linked down below. That way you can see everything that's happening around this 5-Minute Mandala Art Challenge. So I hope you are excited to de-stress and create daily with us. To get started, you want to download the free workbook below in the description box. Please also feel free to like or share this video to spread the love. If you're curious to see a bit more around mindful mandalas now, you can check out one of these videos here. And otherwise, I will see you back for day 1 of our Mindful Art Challenge videos.